Oh, frame rate's not great right now. So yeah, we're out. It's rainy in Seoul right now.
It's very rainy, and I'm sorry my husband is not that tall as me, so I have to really either stand behind him a little bit to be fully in here, or my face is kind of halfway cut.
Sorry, I need to hold it higher.
My irony.
Yeah, like this.
Anyways, we are at the War Memorial of Korea that is basically devoted to the war between North and South Korea.
Yep, 1950 to 1953, Korean War.
Yes. And like we're not gonna go inside to the page stuff, and honestly it's a lot of seeing-side as well, but because I lived in Lokseon area before, I enjoy watching at this kind of tanks and airplanes and bombers and all that, some monuments that are outside, so yeah. I'm sorry that the day is kind of gloomy.
Yeah, it's rainy, and sorry we're a little late. We had to go get coronavirus tests this morning. It became mandatory for all foreigners this week.
And then even if it's not mandatory, the point is I'm so glad I can take it for free and just be sure that I don't have the virus or anything.
Yeah, it was mandatory and then not mandatory, but my school still asked me to get it anyways, and they didn't give me the up, so whatever. It's free.
And I just decided to join anyways because, whatever.
Yeah, it was free, and then on top of that, it took us like an hour max waiting in line and then getting it. And then once they opened the doors, it took us like 20 minutes in and out. So, yay! And we'll have our results in like less than 48 hours. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and walk around. But yeah, it's raining today. It's springtime in Korea, so.
But I think you are bored already of listening and looking at us. So let's just switch our camera to the memorial as well.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and switch it. You guys can see all the rain and everything.
Yep.
Hold, por favor. Danke.
Vita.
Flip camera. All right.
So here you can see a huge memorial. It's not gonna work.
You want to just say a little bit?
Yeah.
The umbrellas are making this more difficult.
So this is basically the bomb shell that is split in half. So that's what you see. Literally, it's just a symbolism to show that the whole nation is split in half.
Ah, let me pan on this thing. So yeah, it's a pretty tall. Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be like an artillery shell, huh?
Yep.
Ugh.
And that's the museum inside with a lot of history, and also just history of Korea in general, and also war history.
Yeah.
Showing different uniforms and showing different Korean historical ships and stuff.
Yeah, we can get up closer. We'll get up closer to all this. Whew. Yeah, I thought the rain was cooling down. It picked up instead.
Yeah.
You've got Namsan Tower in the distance there in the clouds. That's kind of a cool shot.
And I think because we're still far enough, you should show that bomber.
Yeah, you can see it from here.
Yeah, that's a very huge plane.
We'll get up to it. Then just, again, the museum's just right off the main road here.
And right here is Ministry of Defense.
Ministry of Defense right there.
Yep.
And then Itaewon is just up there.
I think it's one of the, something to do with defense, some kind of ministry anyway. Maybe I'm mistaken. There is also a very big statue. Basically it means we're gonna get closer to that.
Yeah, we'll get closer to it.
It still means that the American soldier is helping Korean soldier.
Ah. Yep.
So let's just take a look at the memorial
statues,
here,
yeah.
and then let's start from that side.
Okay, well what does this say right here? This is
War Memorial.
Ah.
Because
loudly.
this one means war. Chonjang means war.
Chongjae.
Chonjang.
Chonjang.
Yes.
Jang.
Chonjang means war.
Chongjang.
Kinyom.
Kinyom.
Memory, and Guan means
Guan.
place. Basically this is a place of memory of
Hakwan.
war.
And
So
it's a place. So it's a more okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Righto. There's your little Korean lesson for today.
Yep.
Yep. Man, these are some impressive statues.
They are. This shows like the sorrow.
Yep, you can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel like it's the sorrow. It's like, it's literally how Russians also felt about Second World War, because every family was touched. There was no family that didn't participate.
Yeah, I guess the same in Korea too. Every family was
Yeah.
touched because it split the country in half.
But the worst thing is that like it's still like, you know, with white and red like movement in Russia, when you have to fight against your own people.
Yeah,
And
civil
this is
wars.
like,
yeah,
and it's like when you have relatives there, how do you feel?
yeah. Because again, that's the thing is that some people in South Korea still have direct family in North Korea that like
Yep.
they get to visit once a year or whatever, right? And get to do
Yeah.
activities
Yeah.
on the border and everything. Like, yeah, and then this right here, we pan up this, so it's got like some almost Art Deco style carvings and inscriptions in it. Because it's kind of fitting a solemn, somber tone and a rainy day. Now, these are rather large statues. Like, they're
so,
very,
like,
very big.
You can see like how small I look.
Yeah, like they're very, very big statues.
We should ask Oma to follow us on YouTube.
Yeah, but it's a lot of emotion in these statues.
Yep.
And again, the majority of these ones being Korean, of course, because it is their war.
Yeah.
But then I think on the other side, one of them is American in the front. It looks like.
I'm not sure about that. I know that over there is a will be like this one.
Yeah. He looks. Oh, maybe he just looks very American. In my mind, he looks more American than a lot of the other statues.
Yeah, but also look, like, you know, people were so poor that, like, you know, it's just literally made out of wood, whatever
Yeah.
he could carry.
Whatever he could carry, the
Yeah.
family. Yeah.
Like, and they're wearing, like, really, like, the cheapest shoes ever. And even this guy, he didn't even have the military boots, but he was still fighting.
Yep.
It just
So-
shows, like, that they were not, like, super professionally equipped or anything. They were literally torn up by that.
Yeah. The ones that were equipped, of course, equipped by the American Army, which is, for you military history buffs, you'll notice a lot of American equipment, American-style uniforms. But of course, the Korean flag. What's the Korean flag called again?
Daegeki?
Yeah, Taegeki. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, very,
I like
very
this style.
powerful.
It's really
Yeah.
well made.
There's a lot of emotion and movement in these statues. But yeah, like it's often referred to as America's forgotten war, because a lot of Americans forget that we actually fought in Korea helping South Korea, because the North was supported, of course, by back then America's arch enemy of the Soviet Union and China. And so, of course, we were going to intervene post World War II, when the world was trying to decide, different countries trying to decide which way to go. And America, of course, wanted to stop communism, which they thought was the most evil thing ever, spreading wherever.
I really think that, like, Soviet Union kind of supported, but not that much as in Vietnam.
It was China here mostly.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an interesting piece. It's visitor faces. So the young faces of people visiting the war memorial still. Because again, like, it's interesting because this is such like all wars are traumatizing, but this is really what made the shape of the country what it is today, because it split the country into two and firmly put South Korea under American influence, like quite directly, because the amount of bases we have here. And of course, Korea's grown quite a bit since then. And of course, mascots always. Because it's still very much part of their history, so their kids learn too.
But that's basically the real stuff what people were fighting with.
Oh yeah, this big old bomber right here. U.S. Air Force, B-52.
Oh my god, there was a famous club in Khabarovsk with the same name,
B-52. It's a bomber. Oh wow, very wet underneath.
Yeah, I noticed.
I heard the noise of splish splash and I'm like, oh, there's puddles. Yeah, it's a very rainy day today, okay. When we read the news forecast, because we had to go get the test, we were like, oh, it's gonna rain a little bit. And honestly, it wasn't even raining that much when we were in line, yeah. But it's picked up quite a bit.
Yeah, but really, look at this huge stream.
Yep.
And it was just dropping death.
Yep.
That's scary.
That's...
But like, look at this wheel.
Yep. Hey,
like, oh my God.
Serious equipment. Serious equipment for serious things. Because again, if there's one thing that humans love to invest money in more than science and exploration, it's making things to kill each other with.
Republic of Korea Air Force.
Yep, rock.
I can't imagine, like,
rock.
people were literally fighting in these little jets.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, that's... Oh.
Kind of scary, but at the same time, imagine the maneuverability. It's so small, you can do so much with it.
I honestly imagine Star Wars, like...
That's where a lot of, I mean, George Lucas got a lot of his inspiration from watching World War II fighters, like dogfighting videos and everything. That's why it feels like that. It's a very intentional comparison.
Go explore.
Yep. Ah, now my bread and butter, some tanks.
And mine is ships.
The ships.
Because I worked before at shipbuilding industry.
Oh God, so much puddle.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how you got here. You were working
Yep.
with naval projects.
Yep.
Between Korea and Russia.
Hulongi.
T-37C trainer.
That's gigantic.
It's not even as big as the other one. It's not even as
Yeah.
big as the other bomber.
The bomber is super huge. I've never seen anything like except the passenger planes like that big.
Yep, and the only
that's like-
passengers on that one besides the gunners and the crew are bombs. Oh. Every time I hear the split splash, I'm reminded how much it's raining.
Yep.
Oh goodness gracious. Another American Air Force one. Yep. Ah, T-55.
Here are the tanks.
Well, it's a Chinese, I guess, so it's a Type 59.
That's your ground here. So.
Yep. Hey, hi Scotty McButters. Yeah, it's raining today.
Oh, hey Scott.
Yeah, it's raining. It's springtime here, so it's raining now. You're at the War Museum here by. Where would this part of? Is this Yongsan or no?
Yes, it is
It's Yongsan.
area.
Yeah. So they've got some of the North Korean, Chinese tanks here. Again, variants of Soviet tanks, because here would be a T-55 essentially for a Soviet tank, but Type 59 in the Chinese. And so you can tell it's a Type 55 or a Type 59 or a T-55 because the bore evacuator is at the end of the gun, like this, and the T-54s before this would have no bore evacuators. And then following this, all the T-60s and T-70s would have the bore evacuator in the center of the gun where they remain today. And then you've got the machine gun ports onto the side there. I could keep going on, but bread and butter. Tanks.
We have more tanks.
I know. We're getting there, we're getting there.
So we can't just have a lecture about one tank.
M47s, all of the patents and everything else.
There used to be a tank where you put some coins and it just start like moving the turret, but I think because of Corona they kind of stopped it.
Probably.
Yeah, but it used to be here too.
Yeah.
Where it just starts having this artificial sound of gunnery and stuff.
Yeah. Again, all of these being American tanks that were left over from World War II, essentially, or were developed at the tail end of World War II and then going into the 50s.
Oh man, it has even a latch.
Yeah. It's a Sherman, but with a larger gun on it. So this is a more or less like an advanced Sherman. So yeah, it puts the gun there to stabilize it, so this way the gun doesn't bounce around when you're traveling. Because guns bouncing around throw off targeting. Like even the modern day Abrams, you don't want to touch the barrel too much because you'll throw off the targeting, and even throwing it off by just by a couple of centimeters or millimeters makes a huge difference when you start talking about ranges at 2,000 meters.
I can't imagine that this is the only space you have in a
Yeah.
tank. It's literally just for street. All the rest is just metal.
Yep.
Straight out, just metal to just spread death.
Yep. Yeah, like physically touch the barrel. Don't touch the barrel.
Yeah.
Like, you can.
It will be hot.
After it shoots, yeah.
Yeah.
But more like just like when you're getting down, you can kind of put some weight on it, but you really shouldn't be.
It's broken.
Uh-huh.
God.
All of the
They
periscopes.
were used.
Yes, they were.
They're not just new tanks, they were actually going through war.
Yep. One of the coolest things I've ever seen was back in the U.S. in Georgia on Fort Benning. They had, it wasn't even a tank museum, it was just a tank graveyard of pieces that could go into a museum someday. And there were German tanks there with holes in them from where they were destroyed. They had bullet marks in them. They still had bullets stuck in them from machine guns that got penetrated into the side.
Wow.
And it was very, as a historian,
What was this
it was
one
frightening.
when you could operate before?
This is a more modern one. This is
But they kind of stopped it, I guess.
This is a K1 or K2. I'm imagining it's not the latest model, so it might be a K1. But essentially, this is Korean domestic tank. Very heavily influenced by the Abrams. Yeah, it's a K1. Yeah.
So we should go that way? Is that how like the pattern goes?
Hey man, do it. Good luck. We'll be around. And we appreciate the lurking anyways, brother. Splish splash, splish splash. Good luck.
What is he doing?
He has to do his capstone today.
Oh.
So like a final project essentially.
Ooh.
Oh man, and then back out all the jets. Oh. And this is basically...
Moon Sonata?
I know.
Scarier.
Yep. And this essentially right here, if you cut the top part, this is an OSFI. We're still using this. This is what we're using for Derwin. Like, exactly.
Light armored personal carrier.
Yeah.
Something like BMP.
Like a BTR. A BTR or a oh geez, this isn't good. I know what it is. Hold on, give me a second. I'm blanking. Mad AF. Hey, a 113. This is what the OSFI. This right here, this is what we're still using in Fort Irwin. This one right here. And that's why they catch on fire so much, because they're this old.
Yeah.
And we're still driving around Fort Irwin in them.
Dang.
Made to look like...
Here it's already in a museum.
Yeah, exactly. And people...
1964년에 64.
Yep. Because they were all through the Vietnam War, too.
Dang.
Jeez. BMD, BMP. What am I thinking of? Oh my goodness, I can't remember. This is terrible.
That's a piece of base that we see right here with all that desert-looking building over
Oh yeah,
there.
part of base.
We see also like Seoul Tower.
Yep, Namsan Tower up
And
there
then
on the
over
mountain.
there with this kind of like dome-looking thing that will be an observatory.
Oh, you
So
can barely
just,
see
like,
it.
Yeah, like you can see that white building. Like here you can see better. Like with a round like dome over
Right
here.
above the yellow helicopter.
Yep, you can just go and see stars.
Yep.
Here's Minister of Defense, Minister of something else, but like something connected with defense thing.
Yeah.
Defense sector. Oh my god, that little thing was flying too?
Yep. Probably a reconnaissance aircraft.
Dang. They're just so small.
Again, sometimes the smallest things are just like, all they need to do is just see. They're not meant to fight, just see. Get in fast, low, I bet you it was a reconnaissance. Reconstruction plane. Trainer aircraft. Okay. Oh, it's specifically like...
Wow. Like literally a little reconstruction plane.
Ah, so it was a little project. It wasn't even a reconnaissance. It was just for self-esteem. Dang.
Wow.
All the missile sets. And you've got,
Go like this way?
Yeah. Yep, classical music in the background so you can really understand the impact of the history. MiG, Soviet jet.
Yep. MiGs are very popular.
Oh wow, this MiG-19 was used by North Korean pilot Captain Lee Wong-pyong when he defected to the Republic of Korea in February 1983.
Wow.
Wow, so he flew this in.
Holy dang.
Well, I suppose that's one way to defect. It's not like they can catch you.
Wow.
They're not gonna catch you when you're the only pilot in a jet.
Dang, that was like super brave and like, you know, like not a well thought move.
Well, I don't know, kind of the best thought out move. You're gonna go flying, who's gonna stop you? Rain, rain, go away, come again another day. An F4 Phantom. Also very popular in,
I'll go to Hwajeongsil.
Okay, I'll follow a little bit. As you go to Hwajeongsil. Oh. Oh, and then we got like this little children's area too. Oh. Okay. You go to Hwajeongsil, I'll stand under small or big umbrella.
Okay.
남자용, 여자용. Oh. And under. Oh, the other umbrella. Oh, switch arms. Oh, there we go. But yeah, it's very interesting. Like, as an American veteran too, I find it very interesting the way different countries perceive wars that they fought in, and especially wars that had an American involvement and how other countries react to that. So when I was in Vietnam, it was a very strange feeling looking at the war museum and everything, because this war museum was not meant for it was not intended for an American audience. It was not intended for making Americans feel good about the war. It was very much for Vietnam, for Vietnamese people, and it, rightfully so, I believe, focused on, you know, the pain and the trauma of that war, which was, again, a civil war between a north and southern part of the country. And Americans usually have a very hard time kind of separating themselves from some of these conflicts because they were our conflicts too. We were there, we fought, we spilled blood. But while we fought in them, they were not our wars. And so it's a very hard thing to do for a lot of people, a lot of Americans, to separate themselves from the history. So there's still strong feelings about, like, Vietnam and Korea. But when you're looking at, like, the museums are not meant for Americans. They don't care how Americans really feel about it, because it's not meant for them. It's meant for the people who are still there. So obviously there's still going to be a little bit of bias depending on whatever museum you're looking at. So when you're looking at a South Korean museum like this one, it's obviously not going to necessarily sympathize with the North's motivations and everything, and viewpoints. But it certainly is going to be much more concerned with humanizing the other side, because they are Koreans. They're still family. As Yulia was saying before, like, these types of civil wars are very... I mean, every war is tragic, but these are particularly tragic because these are the same countrymen. A lot of these are the same families. Again, there's still families, like, that are separated by that border, that have part of the family lives in the north, part of it in the south. Although, again, I wonder how much of that remains true with the amount of isolation that the North has put itself through following the war. Although, again, not as isolated as a lot of people would assume. Again, throughout the Soviet Union's time, you still had a lot of North Korean exchange students and everything going through. Yulia even went to school with some. So not quite as isolated as I think many Americans think, where it's like nobody ever leaves the country. But certainly not nearly as present in the international community as South Korea. So I don't know.
What are you smelling about here?
Just talking about the interesting feelings of going to these war museums that America was involved in, but they weren't America's wars, like Vietnam, like when we went to the war museum in Vietnam as well. That it's not meant for an American audience, because they don't care about how Americans feel about it, because it's not America's war. America fought in it, but it was a Vietnamese war. Or here, it was a Korean war. America was there, and so was China, but it was primarily a war between Koreans. And so I was just musing on the idea that, like, just, it's interesting to see the perspectives. Like, again, they're not trying to make, as an American, again, with our kind of hero worship of the military. And again, saying this as a veteran too, like, our public really loves to worship the military like they could do absolutely nothing wrong, which everyone in the service knows is not true. There's plenty of terrible people and terrible decisions made while in the military.
No, it's just human factor. It's like every business like that.
But you've lived in the U.S.
Yeah, oh yeah, I do.
You know, people don't like to hear that, and people think
everything is perfect.
And especially when it comes to the military, that, like, they could do absolutely no wrong, and everyone in the Army knows that's not true. Like, there's a lot of very bad decisions made, and at various levels of command in various units, and everyone in the service knows, and if they don't, then they're a pogue, or if they try to ignore it.
In case if you want to exercise?
Yeah, in case you want to work out while you're at the museum. They're a pogue, or they're delusional, or in the Marines, they're a boot.
Oh my god, that's prunus. Prunus, yeah, something, if I read it correctly.
What's prunus?
I don't know. I think it's something with prunes.
Maybe. You say it, you're like, oh, it's a prunus, and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Look at all that. It's already blooming.
Hold on. Hard to do with an umbrella.
Yep.
Curse you, rain. Yeah. Like I said, it's springtime, so everything's getting ready to blossom and bloom, and it's very pretty. But yeah, so it's very interesting because, like, it gets very much to the heart of the conflicts, and in Vietnam it was very interesting for me to see, like, again, that in the US you learn about Vietnam a certain way,
Look at all this prettiness.
Mm-hmm. But then when you're in Vietnam, it's a very different, like it's much more, doesn't pull any punches. So it was very illuminating and very humbling. And so it's kind of the same way here. So a bunch of different helicopters.
Yep.
And of course all the beautiful things blossoming, as Yulia pointed out.
Man. A nice nose.
Yep, probably a radar.
Yep.
Whoop, not what I meant to do. Was trying to get a better angle and I accidentally panned it too much.
It's like overlooking the...
Yeah, overlooking the main square.
One of the, because there is also another side.
Oh, I don't think we went to the other side when we were here last time.
Really? I just think that you don't remember, maybe.
No, I remember this because you were telling me about your family, your uncles and stuff that built helicopters and stuff in the Soviet Union. Heinz and the like.
Not even in Soviet Union, in Russia time too.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of uncles that work in Air Force industry.
In the aerospace.
Yeah, like they actually like build. And my uncle now like is already retired, but he helps to translate because a lot of technical translators, we know the terms, but the point is when you never worked in that industry, like you can call it valve, but maybe it's called something like a tap or something like that in a translation.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah, like even like the whole thing here has a specific name of that. And like, you know, if you never worked there, you don't know.
The airframe, it's very true. Now look at that tiny helicopter. How about that? You were talking about.
Oh my god, like I don't know. I wouldn't feel secure at all to fly that. It looks like a dragonfly.
And it's light.
Yeah, it's super light. It seems like it's like...
The Sioux. Again, America loves naming its helicopters after Native American peoples that we fought with. Such some questionable history right there. Depending on who you ask, that's either very humbling or extremely insulting. Like everything these days, it can go either way.
Oh, there's two fat birds sitting over here.
I can't see them.
On the bird, on the tree branch over there?
I don't want to hit you with the umbrella.
No. Like, look.
Oh, I see them. Yeah.
Like wild doves.
You can't see them in the picture.
Oh, okay.
It's too small. And they're brown little birds in the tree.
Ain't no wings on the back of them. You're too fat to fly.
They might be too fat to fly.
Yeah, they kind of look a little bit of fat.
Small helicopters are fun to be in, though.
Yep. See them?
Oh yeah, you can see them now. They're framed by the...
They're actually wild doves.
Yeah.
They're not just regular doves, but they have this like really weird noises that they make when they want to multiply, when they want to mate. And it's kind of like known to everyone that they want to mate. Sorry to interrupt the technical term.
The technical talk. To talk about the mating calls of doves.
Of wild doves, you know? It's like call of nature. You just fly and you see this like pretty bird and you're like, oh. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, we're gonna stop that conversation before you say something you're gonna regret. Because we try to keep it
more professional, man.
PG-13 on this channel.
Oh, that is a dragonfly.
Yes. We try to keep it PG-13 on this channel, but I know my wife, and sometimes they can get into rated R territory real quick without her thinking about it.
Because again, it's the shades of meaning that I don't grasp.
Well, no, sometimes it's also just the words.
True.
Shades of meaning, oh shucks.
Sure, I'll just try to cover up my stuff, you know? Stuff, mija, stuff.
Exactly, stuff, mija, stuff. As my grandma put it when she was in America. Huey.
I'd better
not Hoy.
I'd better not say that in Russian.
Well, I just did.
Oh.
Huey.
Exactly, and then you blame me.
Well, the majority of our audience is probably English speaking.
Hopefully.
Well, who knows? But yeah, this is a Huey. The Iroquois.
Maximum speed is 204 kilometers an hour, man. cruising speed 176. That's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Again,
that's
very
fast.
popular in Vietnam. Kind of an icon of the Vietnam War for America.
It's kind of not even that heavy.
Yeah.
Like
2,000 kilograms.
Yeah.
It's fairly light.
Well, just like a 2-blade. Yeah.
Bell. Yep.
I like this look.
The Cobra.
Yeah, they look very good.
Yep, it's an attack helicopter. Marines still use this.
Kind of like, again, like that's how they show like the angle, like.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's at an aggressive angle. That's how they.
Yep.
That's how they fly. That's how they fight.
But honestly, isn't it scary? Like, you know, it's kind of fine, like, to talk about it now, and then, like, it kind of, like, admires the look, but the point is, I don't want that to ever attack me or my family.
Of course, it's not fun. Like, to put it in a completely underwhelming and inappropriate, it's not fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I'm just squishy. Like, we as humans, we're just, like, not squishy whenever we have, like, this thick of armor around us.
Nah, you're still squishy.
Well, yeah, it depends on what you're attacking each other with.
Yeah. Mean Cobras. Yeah, the Marine Corps still uses Cobras. While the United States... Yeah, because the Marine Corps is the stepchild of the military because it belongs to the Navy, technically.
And of course, a huge TV screen
course.
over there.
Yeah, you can't ever escape modern soul.
Yep.
But yeah, because the Marine Corps in the United States is kind of the stepchild in the military, they get a lot of leftovers and the least amount of funding. Which is funny because I think the Navy actually gets the most funding in the United States.
Well,
but
the amount of cost of that, like, you know, air jet things, like,
the aircraft carriers,
yeah, aircraft carriers,
which we have a lot of them.
Yeah.
They're
And
very expensive.
They cost a shitload of money.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they still use that. Well, the United States Army has obviously moved to the Apache longbows, to upgraded models, and then of course was even looking at the Comanche in the early 2000s as another like futuristic attack helicopter. But we stuck with the Apache. The Apaches are cool too. They cool.
That's the museum inside, but we didn't buy tickets, and honestly, we can't even like probably
film in there. Yeah, we looked again just to make sure. And yeah, even at the palaces, like, you have to go get written permission to... It's kind of weird, because, like, you can take pictures in, like, small video for, like, personal use, but, like, if anything, like, is published or commercialized, or even if it's not for commercial use, but it's still being, like, put in, like, a public space for education or information, like, you still have... It's free, but you still have to get written permission from the Ministry of like Culture to like post it, like, and like it takes like a week to get the paperwork. Like, it's mostly because it's a heritage site, so they're just like, don't mess anything up, please. Like,
so that's how basically that thing
hold on.
is looking all together. So we're right now at this area.
Yeah. Your umbrella's blocking it.
Oh, okay. So we're here, and that's what we saw the bomber and this side, and this side. Now we're gonna go this side and cross all the way here.
Oh. There's not as much stuff on that side. I think that's why we didn't go last time on that side.
I think we went, you just don't remember.
Maybe.
Because it's not that much of attention for you, maybe?
Yeah. I remember this side a lot.
Yeah. Well, maybe we didn't go, I don't know.
Oh, there's a cafe. Oh, but we can't eat anything there.
What do you mean we can't eat? Yeah, that's true.
All the meat and deliciousness in there. It's okay. It's bagels and cream cheese. We already had bagels and cream cheese this morning. After our COVID test, we went and got coffee.
Rocket launcher.
Yep.
Oh. I can't imagine how many people it actually killed.
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
Even one's a lot.
Like, what is that heavy little thing? How do you transport it?
It goes on, it's on a ship.
Really?
Yeah, this goes on a ship. That's why, see the base? How it's meant to be inserted so it can rotate.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It's supposed to be on a ship. It's a naval gun. But they've removed it from said ship.
Oh, now I see.
Yeah.
I forgot. Again, it's not my first time, but
Jeez,
because
a
I'm not military, I
5-inch
don't
gun.
remember that thing.
Jeez. My God. More missiles. Surface-to-air missiles. Some towed artillery pieces. Oh, be careful, all the puddles. Tactical, a Scud. Oh, this is Russian. Or Soviet.
Yep.
A Scud Missile. Really popularized in the American mindset, yep, by Iraqi forces. Yeah. And as it's saying, North Korea still has a lot of these, the medium tactical ballistic missiles. Ah, marine amphibious transport, but the old versions. Ah, yes.
Go in.
Go in.
They're like, no thanks.
Spent a lot of my life, a good chunk of my life in here, but yeah. Here, hold the umbrella. Time to get wet.
Go, go, go.
Slippery when you're not in boots. Yep. 113s, man. Oh, this isn't a 113, but the 113s are next door. Yep, in the driver's compartment. For those of you who aren't familiar with armored vehicles, yeah, this is about typical of space, and your periscopes so you can button up so that people can't shoot you, because if you have your head popped up, you're just a target. So you have these little periscopes that you look through, so this way people can't just shoot through them either, like at you, because it's a periscope, so it's at an angle. Must be nice with 2 umbrellas. This terrible slippy angle.
Here.
Give me my umbrella back.
Remember your army days when you don't have umbrella.
Oh, a mortar 113.
Don't get in.
Don't. It's because that's the driver's compartment. And then here comes my baby, the 113. Spent a lot of time in 113s, and I would sleep on that bench right there.
Go remember.
Sure. Essentially. Oh man, the memories.
Feels like home.
Sort of, actually. I would sleep right here, because in our 113s at Fort Irwin, all of this would be replaced with a turret, so that we could resemble whatever OP4 opposing force vehicle we needed to. Usually BMPs or T-80s or T-72s. And so, really, I just slept right here. Because this is all that was left of the bench, that first bench. And then the battery boxes, you charge your phones on. Have to open this and clean out underneath for all the inspections. Then here, especially with the turret here, this became a real issue of getting drivers out if they needed to. You had to pull them through the side, very much like a Bradley fighting vehicle. So, but yeah, lots of memory. This is the engine compartment right here, which is very hot, and as you can see, the driver's right there. So in Fort Irwin, when it's 120, 130 degrees outside, so like 45 degrees Celsius, like the 40s, this would make it much hotter. And then when this catches fire, that's a huge problem for the driver. Because when the engine catches fire, he needs to get out or out this way. Up and out or back and out. The memories. Yep. The memories. Yep, lots of memories. It is like a second home.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time. I spent 4 years of my life essentially in the back of that vehicle. scout cars.
And I bet that, you know, it's like if you just replace some stuff, you can still start it and it will go.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure. Look at
Maybe.
this kind of stuff is to me unkillable.
Eh.
Well, you know, it's still like, you know, it's not that soft and tender as just like automatic car or something
Yeah.
like that.
For me, I know very well how killable these are. Namely, catching on fire and watching it burn and just being like, you grabbed the night vision goggles, right? And then the person going like, oh shit. As you watch everything catch on fire and burn to the ground. Towed artillery pieces.
How do you carry that?
It's towed. So you put it into the back of a truck and then you drive it to where it needs to be and then unlatch it.
It needs to be a big truck, right?
Yes, it needs to be towed by something.
How do you read howitzer?
Howitzer.
Howitzer? Yeah.
Yep.
Gaubitzer in Russian.
Gaubitzer. As opposed to what is called a self-propelled artillery gun, which is something that can move on its own.
Yes, because it's self-propelling
Yep.
itself.
But these are all.
This Gaubitzer.
Yep, these are all towed artillery pieces.
Yep.
Including a towed anti-air right here. Because see, it's all just like, you can see where it hooks up. You can just
But,
put
like,
this to the back of a truck.
Rounds, like literally, there is like this kind of like little
To brace it, but those would
little
swing.
lapki.
You could see the little lapki. They kind of are little lapki, aren't they?
Yeah.
But you can see they swing off to the side and then they latch either up to the. It looks like they go underneath the gun when they're stowed, and then right there in the back is just a trailer hitch. It just hitches up to a trailer, and you drive it around. Yep, Vulcan air cannon. Which again, this was America's best answer for localized anti-air, and then we got rid of it, and then when we realized that people in the world still have, you know, still have aircraft, then we were like, oh, maybe we need those again.
Waltz? Man, this is like Shall we dance some waltz? Have you learned how to dance waltz?
I can do the basic square waltz, I can do that waltz. Yes, I know how to waltz. Yep. Towed anti-tank gun. Very similar to the Soviet 2 Alpha 45 Mike.
Let's take a look at my little baby.
The little patrol boats. Actually, I guess this is really what they would be here for, wouldn't they? Yep, for vehicle and marsh areas. Yeah.
It's kind of like a prototype of hovercraft, you know?
Essentially, because then this is what this is really what Yulia's project was on. Was essentially helping provide, when Russia provided some of their Morina hovercraft, transport hovercrafts to South Korea in exchange for war debts and stuff like that, and Soviet Union debts that they still need to pay off, so they paid with equipment. And part of that was an arms deal that gave South Korea some transport.
Heart is beating because you're speaking too much of my information.
That's well known. Just look it up on Wikipedia.
I know. Murena Craft is already there.
Yeah, and it's an old model too.
No, Murena A is not old.
Oh.
Murena A is A means for export.
Oh.
So this is like Murena E project, so that's like what I was a part of.
Oh. So basically, they gave South Korea the capabilities to transport light armor and troops through marsh areas,
Not
which
light
is
armor, 2 armored vehicles.
No, that's light armor.
Is it light?
Yeah,
it's armored.
With BTRs and stuff like that. BTRs. It's not transporting a K1 or anything. It's not transporting a full main battle tank.
It's not transporting a tank. No.
Yeah, so they would be.
It's like 2 BTRs.
Yeah, so it's light armor.
But it's still like. Well, it's not the biggest hovercraft because the biggest hovercraft is still Zubur, which is like a 5-story building.
And that one carries main battle tanks.
But and that one has like 3 impellers and stuff, but Morena has only 2.
Yeah.
And Morena is considered like a middle.
Yeah.
Displacement is only 150 tons.
Yeah. Middle. But yeah, so.
It's not a small hovercraft.
No, at all. It's not.
But the worst part is like I never knew that like hovercrafts can literally die so quickly because it's like if it is on fire, it's like 15 minutes and this whole aluminum is just gone. Yeah,
because it has to be light.
And I never know that like I always thought like metal never burns. I thought like whatever you do. And then once I started working with it, I was like, shit, it can burn.
It reminds me of when some of the stuff around around.
Oh, and because of Corona they closed it. Because
Oh,
you used to go
the
out
ship.
and just take a look at all that.
From on top of the ship.
Yeah. Prevent COVID. Yep. Yeah, it used to be like, you know, like everybody was just going.
Oh.
Like, all these little like red marks is where it was shot at. So they marked it out to see how much it was shot.
Yeah, this was recent. This was 2002.
Yep.
While fighting the enemy in order to safeguard the country's water and contribute to promoting the national security awareness of the people with importance of defending. Life-size replica of the original patrol boat, which is currently stored at the Rock Navy 2nd Fleet headquarters. Yeah, the red marks are where it was damaged. When North Korean patrol boats were chased away by South Korean.
Yep. Look
Jeez.
at all the screws. Water line.
Yep.
It's interesting how in Russian language it's still called Vaterlinia. It's not called like Vodolinia, it's called like Vaterlinia.
Vaterlinia. Oh. And you got these are self-propelled. Right here. These are self-propelled guns now. Because they can move on their own.
Самоходная гаубица.
Yep, like 2S19s are the main ones in Russia right now. The 2S19 is the main is the main towed artillery piece of the Russian army right now. And the Paladin system in the United States is
look
ours.
how much of the shot marks are.
Yeah, it's a lot. It took damage, man. They were fighting.
Yeah.
Jeez. I always love this on Russian and Soviet designs. See the little latches on the back of the tank right there? Do you know what those are? Propellers.
Really?
Yeah, it's an amphibious tank.
Oh.
Yeah, and the T-55, the Type 59 next to it, also has a propeller system to kind of help it go through.
Yeah, but that's why we
water.
practice that in Russia. That like you just seal yourself and you go in the swamp and you go out.
Russian and Soviet fording, as in fording across rivers, going across rivers, was far more like, way more intensive than the United States. When we forded, like, yeah, the driver had to go underwater, but like, normally you didn't really expect to go anything that would go over like really over the driver.
In our case, it's literally you submerging the whole thing.
Oh yeah, and there's the whole thing where like that's why the Russian and Soviet tanks have the large like commander's post that just like is a tower that you climb up, and it's just like you're standing like 20 feet above the tank, and like.
By the way, that will all be water.
Oh.
Once it's getting warm, and it will be islands of like lotus flowers. And
oh
stuff.
really?
Yep.
Islands of lotus flower?
Yep. We'll
Wow.
just have to come back here in summer.
So this is all supposed to be water?
Yep.
Oh.
It's supposed to have like water all around, but because of winter it's drained.
Oh.
And all of that hole, the whole like thing you see there, the memorial boards inside,
Yeah.
is all the people who died.
Oh.
It's like, it's a lot.
Yep.
And it's foreigners and it's Koreans who fought, like everybody's there. Cows singing.
Ugh, I wish it would stop raining. Mostly because now would be a good time to start charging my phone.
Oh, your phone is almost dead?
25.
Okay.
Not quite there. Once it starts getting down to like 10 is when I start worrying. And that's when we swap phones if need be.
There's a couple more big things to see.
Yeah, we're almost done with we got the main part of the outdoor museum. We still have a few more of like the memorial on this side and then the other side, but it's not as intensive as the side we just visited.
There's also a wedding hall inside.
A wedding hall?
Yep.
I was gonna say, why would you want to get married here? But I imagine military weddings happen here probably.
And also, like, for those people whose, like, parents took part in the war, maybe it's also, like, one of their
Yeah.
one of their places to go.
Maybe, yeah. Which one is this? What song is this?
Well, I don't know. That's some. It's kind of well known, but like I don't know for sure. It's something like really classic enough.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me. It reminds me of Soviet music, honestly.
It's because you guys always listen to classical music. That's why. Because European classical music was still very much part of your heritage.
Yeah, it is.
Whereas in America, this music is for snobbish, rich people. Cultured people.
Nope, you get up every day at 7 o'clock. You do your exercises that like your radio tells you, like, oh, and here you stand, you clap, you do this, you do that.
Clap your hands to stay healthy.
Exactly. And then like there is a classic music concert before you go to school. You just get ready, you eat, and you listen to that concert.
And then ballet at night, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's the clock that just stops at the time when the war
ended, or
Yeah.
was ceasefired.
kind of like on pause, so it shows like how much time
Yeah.
it's already.
Because the war is not over, technically. Although I know... Is this the Ride of the Valkyries? Yes, it is. This one I know. Dun 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 dun. Huh. Erecting the clock tower. Yeah, I'd say there's a better angle from here. And with the tanks and vehicles and then people holding the clocks.
Here is the whole new buildings district.
Ah. Yep, and then just right across the street, there's just modern Korea.
Yep.
Skyscrapers and LCD screens and everything else.
This clock, I guess, like is supposed to show when the war ends, but it's not yet. It's
Yes.
not over yet.
Yep, the war is still in ceasefire, armistice. Not even armistice, it's just ceasefire. Oh.
Honestly, there is not many things to see
I
over
think
there.
that's why I don't remember this side.
And like here, that's like the big monument of like.
Yeah.
It's
So the-
supposed to mean that American soldier is holding Korean soldier and helping him. At least that's what I heard it means.
Why does the Korean soldier look so small compared to the American?
I
Is
don't
he a
know.
child?
He's probably just fainting.
Maybe. It's oddly proportioned.
Yeah, it is.
Which for the other ones, the other statues being so well done, like this one is kind of strangely proportioned.
But honestly, it seems to me that they're both Koreans and just helping each other.
Maybe. Let's see. Let's go inside.
Oh. Did they close it because of Corona?
Oh, they might have closed it for Corona.
Because you used to go inside and just read a little bit
Yep,
there?
I remember going inside last
Yeah.
time I was here with you. That was also
Oh.
back in the good old days of, what
Oh,
year is
man.
that? 2016?
Yeah.
No, you used to, oh no, yeah, they closed that.
Nope. It's closed, man.
It is sealed.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah, it's sealed.
sealed. Oh, that's sealed right up. But yeah, so that's the outside of the War Museum here.
Let's just go
Go up
into
to the-
that kind of
Like to the main.
wing
Okay.
to show the memory boards,
'Kay.
memorial boards.
Yep. Oh. Swallowed some spit. Ooh, I see you. I'm not hungry.
Sure.
Oh man, I apologize for the drop in frame rate. As my battery dies, like the frame rate
It just tries to save your phone.
yeah, the frame rate goes from a crisp 30 to like right now 14.
Wedding hall.
Yep, there's the wedding hall.
I'll just go in like really quick over here.
Why? Oh my goodness, why? Okay, so once again, one of the questions that I have is hold on, it's getting real janky with the yeah, that CPU is trying to stay alive. I know the frame rate's just dying right now. So if you look above Yulia right now, stop moving, you're making it look so bad because of the, the frame rate. Up there where it says Museum Wedding Hall in English, you might be wondering, I wonder what the Korean says. Museum Wedding Hall. So it says Museum Wedding Hall. Which is one of the things that I always talk to Yulia about is I don't understand why that isn't written like with Korean words. Like why is it transliterated? I don't get it. Oh, and here we go. Yeah. Oh man, my frame rate always dies when the battery starts dying. Okay, so before my battery completely dies, we've got
Just show the board.
up here some more imagery. Oh, sorry motor. The motor did not like that. The gimbal was like, no bueno. I was spinning it around and it's like, nope, I gotta readjust, stop turning me.
Look how many people just on one board.
Yep, and then here's all the people that died. Each one of those is a name. And there, as you can see, are many boards of these on both sides. And it continues down that way too, yeah? Up the stairs. Oh yeah, onto the other side too.
It's like many thousands of people.
Yeah, many thousands of people. Again, and most Americans forget that we were even here. And they only know now just because we still have troops here.
Do you want to go out and finish there, or do you want to go out to the main area?
Let's go out to the main area.
Yeah.
I'm at 13%, so
Okay.
the frame rate's about half of what it could be right now. So yeah, and the classical music. Nothing offensive, nothing. Just more of these memorial boards.
So those that they couldn't recognize their bodies, like no names, but it's like literally those people who died and they were not recognized even.
Mumyong
Mumyong Yongsa.
Yongsang.
Mumyong means like no name.
Mumyong. And Yongsa is what?
Probably dead people. That's what I figured.
Ah.
And they're getting prepared for
Summer.
summer, so like it's a lot of renovation.
Renovations, and like you said, the water will be filled back up with all the lotuses.
Yep. 100 lines, and in each line it's like 14 or 15 rows.
Jeez.
Yep.
And more imagery. All the way to the modern day, because there you have your K1s and K2s as well. Yep. And as you can see, it continues. Yep. Here we go. KIA. US lost 36,000. And then total for South Korean 152,000. All right, darling, hold on. My phone's literally, darling. All right, everyone. So that doesn't happen again. I'm pretty sure my phone's dead.
If
So
you want, we can switch to mine.
we're gonna go ahead and switch on over for a quick hot minute. So we'll see ya. Don't go anywhere.